Hi guys, Matt at MBM Aquatics. Finally got the rack leveled in fishroom 3.1. Took a bit of work, but we got it done. Now we're ready to start moving some tanks. That rack is going to hold approximately 20 tanks, give or take, depending on how I combine the 15s and the 10 gallons. Today we're going to focus on this rack, which is mostly breeder plecos. I got two 15s, housing two 60s. There's also some corridors, Harold Schultzii, L201s, LD808s, L339, a hypid citrus species from Venezuela that I brought back from the UK, and citrus species Rio Tocantins. So we're going to get these 7 tanks moved out. This tank is empty with just some Lossertang in it. We'll move that one as well. And we're also going to grab some other 10s and 15s off of the Cory rack. This is the Cory rack I'm going to be working on. Two 15s, series of 10s. Now the reason I chose the tanks that I chose is that these tanks are tanks that I have multiple breeding tanks of. So I can get these fish up there, make sure they're good, they acclimate to the water well before I start moving some of my more rare or sensitive fish. I'll make sure some of these guys make the move and acclimate well. I'm not worried about large tanks on the bottom quite yet. We're just going to get these smaller tanks out of here, and then we'll work our way from there. I'm going to be removing all the hardscape, the pipes, caves, wood, and depending on how many stem plants are planted, we'll be pulling the plants as well. I'll be pulling the mat and filter and the sponge. Everything will go into buckets or Rubbermaid totes. I'm not going to clean the filters other than whatever dirt settles out of them. I want them to be cycled when I get out to the new place. Tank like this that's very heavily planted, I will uproot most of those plants and float them in a bucket so that the fish can move around. I'm going to drain all the tanks to about here and then carry them out and move them with a little bit of water in them. So let's get started. So we're going to start with the hardscapes and stuff on this side of the room because these are plecos and it can be a bit tricky to get them out of the caves. I got a container down here I'm going to be putting them into, nesting wood between caves, etc. And I'm going to put a little bit of water in there so that if I miss a fry or something, it can fall down and it'll be alright. Once I get this up to the top of the stairs, I'll sump some more aquarium water into here so that everything stays wet. I do not want to mess up my biologic filtration and biologic bacteria that's built up on everything. So as much as I'd like to rinse snails off, etc., duckweed, I gotta go with it because I'm really worried about upsetting the bacteria during this move. Fish have been fasted for 2 days. There's no worry about them from that standpoint. Checking everything very closely for eggs, fry. I really like to get into the little gnarly spots of the driftwood, so you want to make sure you check everything. Unfortunately, I believe the male was caved up with fry in this tank. You want to make sure you shut off your heaters before you do anything like that, which I forgot to do. They want to fry. As I mentioned, I'm gonna add water to this to keep that sponge wet. I'm not gonna clean it till after I get up there and the tank runs for a little while. It's alright. Sorry. We can see here we've nested all the tanks together. We've got styrofoam separating them. And we'll be on the road to the new place in a minute. Due to a mechanical malfunction with a vehicle, I didn't get the video of us putting these up. But basically it was a reverse of what we did on the going down. So everybody looks good. The tanks are sweating quite a bit. It's not because I filled them with cold water. It's because it's about 90 degrees with a dew point of about 80, 75. So I did not put caves into any of the Pleco tanks. I want to make sure everybody's good. I did start putting driftwood back. Obviously I haven't washed glass or anything yet and don't have lights. But we can see things are looking pretty decent. So we ended up moving 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 tanks today in just about 4 hours, and that was with a vehicle breakdown. Of course, having the rack standing helped a lot. So I got the rack pretty level using shims and plywood. This air system's obviously temporary. I did a material called Ultra Board on the bottom of the rack. What it is it's a plastic face styrofoam. So you can push it in and dent it so it will level itself out anywhere that's a little off. But everybody looks alright. We didn't lose any fish in transport. I got a few guppies behind a mat and filter I'm going to have to catch tomorrow. But all in all, considering a vehicle lost brakes on the way here, it went pretty well.